You know, man, for someone who has a death metal channel, you don't even actually have any death metal videos yet. I'm sorry, what now? Yeah, I mean, I see death doom, black metal, thrash metal, of all things, and more death doom. No true blue, honest to goodness, straight ahead death metal. Wow, I guess you're right. You know what? Today, that changes. But who are you and how did you get into my house? Oh, hi there. My name's Jorge. I grew up in the early 80s, loved playing around, getting into trouble, getting into all kind of stuff. Loved church, loved God, and I've always been a music fan. And recently I've discovered I like extreme music of all kinds. And I want to invite you to journey with me discovering extreme metal. What is up, folks? Welcome back to A Christian Collects Death Metal. It's your pal, Jorge here, talking about death metal on this video. Something I haven't done before, but here we are. And I thought this would be a fun one because I'm going to share with you a few albums, three, and some maybe honorable mention or two. Three actual true blue, honest to goodness, straight ahead death metal albums that got me into the genre. And the thing is, there are no morbid angels in this list. There are no deicides in this list. No Cannibal Corpse, even though I did listen to some. But, you know, this is going to be a list that is really telling, right? Because, like I said, I'm only into this hobby just a couple of years, right? Almost 2 years. So I'm relatively new. So this list is going to be pretty much modern stuff, with the exception of an honorable mention at the end. But yeah, I mean, that's how I experienced death metal, right? Was just some modern stuff. This list of three death metal albums that got me into this genre, kind of like my own personal beginner kit or starter pack. Coming in at the third spot, I'm going to list the honorable mention at the end, but coming in at number 3, it's really in no particular order, but, well, that's kind of a lie because I did save my favorite for last. Coming in at number 3, though, is 200 Stab Wounds, A Slave to the Scalpel. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I actually picked this up at a local record shop, and I liked 200 Stab Wounds simply because they were from Ohio, and all of their songs were pithy, to the point. They had some sweet breakdowns, toe rope around the throat, skin milk, phallic filth. Let me just say this. I mean, great straight ahead death metal here. No frills, no, just OSDM, old school death metal. And I appreciate that style quite a bit. But the thing is, I have found out, as my tastes have evolved, that gore-related or gore-themed death metal, really not my thing, to be honest. I'm really more of, the spookier stuff, or maybe the grim worldview stuff, nihilistic, whatever you want to say. But yeah, gore, not that big on. So I don't have any stuff like Cannibal Corpse or anything like that. Now, that being said, there are a few death metal albums that are gore related that kind of get a pass from me. One of them is 200 Stab Wounds. One of the reasons is, yes, they're from my home state of Ohio. And two, because it's just really good music. And also, a lot of this stuff, it's so tongue-in-cheek. Like, in Skin Milk, they have a verse about, why is it that cows, why are they the only ones that's allowed to graze? And, it's just so tongue-in-cheek. Some of this stuff is so over the top and bizarre, it's just hilarious. And so, they maybe not take the lyrics so serious, but the music, they absolutely do take serious. This is a lot of fun. Coming in at number 3, Slave to the Scalpel, 200 Stab Wounds. Coming in number 2, actually winning out from another one that I'll show, is Hidden History of the Human Race, Blood Incantation, beloved by all, right? This is a classic for a reason. I almost went with Star Spawn, right? But if I'm being honest, this is the one that really that I was introduced to Blood Incantation to, and one of the first death metal bands that really got me excited and really got me into the genre. Giza Power Plant, that weird thing going on, Inner Pass, from the dream of our existence to the multi-dimensional nature of our reality, Mirror of the Soul. You see some of these guys and they're doing a review and they're like, yeah, some of my favorite songs are Inner Pass, Slaves. It's like, dude, have you really listened to this? Maybe you have, but you really don't know this material. I don't like that. I'm sorry. Hey, forgive me. But yeah, when you're doing a review, I don't know, it just seemed like you should know enough, be super familiar with the content, even if you don't like it, that you've listened to it enough times to where you can speak to it and you can rattle off your favorite songs and all that. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Great album, classic for a reason. Pretty recent. Like I said, hey, this video is telling. These are all modern stuff. Yeah, I do like some of the older material from the older bands, but this is what did it for me. This was my starter pack. These are the albums that introduced me to the genre. Number 2 spot, Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race. Coming in at the number 1 spot, and stay tuned for the honorable mention after this, because it is a good one, right? It's a good one. There's a reason it's not in this top 3. But coming in at number 1, one of the true blue, honest to goodness, straight ahead death metal albums that got me into death metal is Tomb Mold, Manner of Infinite Forms. I adore this album to the nines. The title track, which is the opening track, Manner of Infinite Forms, has one of the best openings to a song, but to an album in general, that I've probably ever heard. It's debatable, is that how I want to say it? So lurking and looming, you feel like some kind of entity is like looming over you when you listen to it. It's just that spooky. It is one of my favorite tracks of all time. Then you got Blood Mirror, Two Worlds Become One, which is the closing track. Abyss Walker, Uthika, right? Love the Uthika t-shirt. Tomb Mold is one of my absolute favorite death metal bands of all times. All the ones I've mentioned on this list are favorites of mine. Tomb Mold is right up there. I mean, I have everything they ever did. Really appreciate this album, though it may not be my favorite. My favorite is their earlier stuff, like the Bottomless Perdition, the Molting, stuff like that. Even Primordial Malignity. But this is right up there. I mean, this is the one that exposed me to them to begin with, and was one of the entry points for me into death metal. OSDM to the core. A lot of their modern stuff is kind of getting away from that, but this early stuff, oh man, chef's kiss, right? Number 1, Manner of Infinite Forms, Tomb Mold. And for my one and only honorable mention, I was going to include 2, and I'll tell you the other one I was going to include is the Black Dahlia Murder, Unhallowed, which is their first one. I didn't include it. For one, it's not straight ahead death metal. Neither is the one that I'm getting ready to show you. We all know that Black Dahlia Murder leans toward the melodic side of death metal, and that's okay, right? But, even though Unhallowed was at the beginning for me, I just, if I'm being honest, I'm I'm just not that big of a fan. I do own a few albums, Unhallowed, Nocturnal, but I appreciate them. Mad respect, Trevor, R.I.P., one of the greats. But you know what? Maybe I just will list that. Yeah, why not? Unhallowed by I don't have it readily available right here because I wasn't going to include it. But yeah, you know what? Black Dahlia Murder, Unhallowed. That would have been one. But the one that I really want to talk about is Cattle Decapitation, Monolith of Inhumanity. I didn't include this in the list because it's not straight ahead death metal. This is death grind. In fact, on the hype sticker, it says just that. This is a reissue, by the way. Epic death grind masterpiece. And that's the case. Some people might say Death Atlas, and that's a good one too, as well as Terrasite. And, what's that other? The Anthropocene, Extinction. Great albums. Hey, this is the one right here. And I have those other albums too. This is the one right here. And yeah, the reason it's an honorable mention is because it's not straight ahead death metal. But this was there for me right around the beginning. This was one of the extreme metal albums that I was listening to. And this is almost a 10 out of 10 masterpiece for me. The reason that it falls slightly short, at the end of the day, I'm just a newbie. Greenhorn, hold on. Yep, still wet back there. Who am I, right? But for me, what holds this back from being a perfect album is the one track called The Monolith. It is the only interlude on the album, and the ferocity, the intensity from the start to finish is just so vicious that when you get to the Monolith and there's this slow interlude, it just brings everything to a stop for me. Not a fan, right? But I appreciate that they tried to do, some relief and tension, that sort of thing going on. But this record is tense, and it would have just been better, in my opinion, had they left that out. Dude, this is one of the greatest albums to ever do it, right? One of the best death grind albums, right? That's, again, why it's an honorable mention. Love this so much, man. I love Cattle Decapitation. Travis Ryan, one of the best in the game today, working. I could go on and on about this. I'm preaching to the choir, though, at this point, and I'm well aware of that. But my honorable mention is Monolith of Inhumanity, Cattle Decapitation. Alright, my friends, there you have it. There were some albums that got me into the genre of death metal and, kind of got me into extreme metal in general. Leave a comment, let me know exactly what you think. Let me know these selections, and let me know some of your own that got you into the genre. I'm kind of new to it, so my experience is going to be different than others, and that's okay. Let me know what your entry points were. I'm really curious to hear. Please leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to get the channel to grow somewhat. But I appreciate you stopping by. It means the world to me. Jorge, a Christian who collects death metal, signing off. Be blessed.